Hey, how's it going? I'm going to read you some cards, but I'm starting from here so I can show you the signs. And by here, I mean this distance away from my face. Okay, get a good look at those. Let me move my hair fuzz out of the way. Okay. Whoops. Okay, so don't fall, please. Oh, while you're at that angle. I don't there. You just don't want to. Okay, fine. It's gonna suck up all the charge, and it's not all the way charged, but let's just see how it goes. On the floor, not how I wanted it to go. Fuck. God damn it! Hi. I have just had a really frustrating couple of days, and I don't really want any more bullshit. Can you just work? You fucking piece of shit. Sorry for all the cursing, but damn, that pisses me off. Trying to do shit and it won't do it. Okay, so it's not time for weird history. I pulled, I guess I pulled 3 cards. But from the Wild Unknown Spirit, no. This Shaman's Dream Oracle deck I pulled. Number 52, Straddling Worlds. And the subtitle is Wandering Between Realms. Okay, so today is Indigenous Peoples Day, or whatever they decide to call it. I don't know, like, I'm not real close to, like, Indigenous people right now, but I would sure like to ask what they think of it, like, because it seems to me like an afterthought holiday. And I guess I shouldn't say they, because I am also part Native American, but it's such a small portion, like I barely feel like I'm allowed to say anything, but I feel like it's an afterthought holiday. And I don't know, like, what good is it, really? Like, give land back, repay, what is the thing they're always trying to get for slaves? Reparation. Black people, great. Give us money for that, sure. But why is no one talking about giving reparations to the Native American people? They were here first. We did them hella dirty. And they just, like, they don't seem like they count. And it's ridiculous. It pisses me off. They were here first. People are acting like 200 years later, they're like righteous colonists. Your fat processed food ass didn't do a damn thing with it. You don't take pride in stealing. Sorry. I'm in a mood if you can't tell. So, I have not looked up what Indigenous Peoples Day was about to see if any Indigenous people took part in any of it. Make a note to check that later. And this time, I'm sure I made a note the other day when I was talking about this, but I can't read my writing. That's not really a great piece of paper either, but let me just put it there. Check. Indigenous. This paper's greasy. The letters are hardly coming out. Touch pesto one time and it gets everywhere. People's festivities. Alright. So here's what I really want to talk about. And it's really only partially about this. It's there's more to it than just what I'm going to talk about, but Thanksgiving is something I want to talk about because I mentioned that I did not get an invite to like anybody's house for dinner or any of that. And I mean, it don't feel great. It doesn't feel great to watch people talking about it for 2 weeks, the lead up and all the recipe talk and all of the everything, when you know that, like, you're not going to do it. I'm by myself. And one year I had a donated turkey because I got some stuff from Salvation Army. And one time I bought one because I just wanted to, I wanted to have the turkey dinner because I don't that often. But usually it's just a Thursday and I just try to ignore all of the other stuff and go about my business. I did used to have a place to go. I live in a state that is 2 states north of my regular state, the state where I was born, which is California, which means I'm in Washington. And the funny thing is that I've met people here, and there was a woman I worked with for like 2 years, and we were pretty good friends. And one time I was on Facebook saying that I wanted to go back to California, and she just thought I had moved away and was gone. And I have not been able to, I mean, I suppose I could find her on Facebook again, but the fact that she was just like, I didn't even say I was going. I said I wanted to go, and she already had me gone and was just like, I couldn't even find her again to say, hey, I'm not going anywhere. She went gone somewhere. I don't know. I'm telling you that because that's about as close as I've gotten to someone that's from here as a friend. But I have trouble like making friends with people from here, like acquaintances, sure, but no one that's going to invite me for Thanksgiving. So it's a weird feeling. But the person that I used to go for Thanksgiving at their house is also from California, not the part that I was from. And also, we did not meet there. We met here in Washington. And I was going to her house for several years for the holidays. And it's just nice to be included in those holiday family dinner type things, because I certainly enjoyed it with my family in California. So, I mean, I missed it. And then, like, I move here, and for years, that just doesn't happen. There's just, like, it's just another Thursday in my life. And sometimes I do okay with it, and other times I do not well at all. And yesterday was one of those days. I can tell you why, sort of. I have met my person, and I've mentioned that just in passing because it's a kind of screwed up situation. My person is a famous person, and so they don't want me to say who they are, which sucks because I totally want to say who it is. And there's a lot of stuff going on between us, and we're not in the same state yet. And I say yet because we have talked about it. And so my expectation, oh great, my hair has an erection. Anyway, my expectation is eventually we're going to live together, right? Like, how long are we going to talk about this? We're adults. Like, what is the holdup? So I was like, hey, let's spend the holidays together. And they're like, hey, we can't. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Why not? And they did finally explain some things today, but it's been months that this has been going on, and I've been like, what the fuck, man? We're not children. Why are we why are we separated? So I got some explanation. That's not a word. But I got him to give up some more details, and now I feel bad because he was trying to give me a surprise, but it's like, that's great, but meanwhile, all hell's breaking loose and other stuff, and I need, yeah, it's an active situation. So, but like, no holiday thing. And I was like, before I was fully aware of why not, I was pissed. I was like, what the the word, the one? I was like, I don't like this. Something's, I don't know. So, and then yesterday, they're like texting me all, happy Thanksgiving, I hope you have a day with family and food and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, have you not been listening? Told you none of that is happening. Shut up. Oh, I didn't say the shut up part, but pretty much everything else I totally did say. Like, what the fuck are you saying? Do you hear yourself? Like, were you rubbing my face in it? What are you doing? And of course he wasn't. And that was not a great reaction for me to have. It is the reaction I had, though, because I was just like, I don't know, like, it's a kind of it matters to me. I'm like having emotions about it. They're not so much. That's because they knew what the hell was going on, though, and I didn't. So, I got very upset with this person and was like, you know what? I am not doing this, because it wasn't just yesterday. Like I said, there's a lot that I haven't said. But, so yesterday, not a great day. I did not have a good Thanksgiving. I didn't even have a good Thursday. I don't want to list all of the problems that I had with yesterday because apparently that's a negative thing to do. Even if I'm just explaining, it's like, oh, that's negative, don't do it. Okay, I won't, but there's stuff. So, today I feel a little better because some things were explained and now I don't feel like I did yesterday, which was not a good way to feel. I was not in a good mood. I was in a terrible mood. I didn't even eat till this morning from the day before, which if you look at me, you can see that doesn't happen very often. So, it's just been a roller coaster of emotions this last few months. I mean, if it's not my own personal stuff, there's other things going on in the world that just want to, woo, up and down till you just feel crazy and exhausted with, like, feeling everything. That's why yesterday I was like, I don't have, like, sleeping pills or anything to knock me out except my smoke. And the the strain I have is not the knock you out sleepy kind. Look, I don't want that. I want to smoke it all the time, so I want to be awake, But I was wishing I had something to knock me on my butt yesterday because I did not want to be conscious. And so that's my holiday report. How was your holiday? Better, I hope. So, I did want to have, like, some of those foods, and just because of the way things have been with my finances, like, everything that's going on is wrapped up in my finances or not finances, and I just had, like, a big, huge upset a few months ago that I mentioned it, that I was, like, on the hook for thousands of dollars, and that is not the case anymore, because I did get help from my person with that, which was really good. I super appreciated that. But like I said, we're not living in the same state, so my shopping is not, like, on his list. And I got the stuffing, but I don't have, like, any kind of turkey thing. And the reason why I even need turkey is because I just want that flavor. And for some reason, you can find all the chicken broth you want, but you cannot find turkey broth to save your life. You got to order it online, and I didn't have money to do that this year. So I thought, okay, I have a little bit of money. Maybe I can buy some ground turkey or something. And then I looked online and I saw, oh, well, they have turkey legs that I could get. that were real cheap. It's not my favorite cut, but I just want the flavor so I could use it to make the broth for my stuffing. So my stuffing tastes like turkey, because that's what I'm after. And usually, if I have a turkey, I'll use the gizzards for that, and I'll make a fairly large saucepan of broth, and then some of it I'll use for the stuffing, and some of it I'll use for gravy. That is how I learned how to do the Thanksgiving. So, tomorrow, maybe, oh, shoot, maybe not tomorrow. I don't know. I have an electronic Visa card that I won, and I don't know if I can use it in the store. I mean, I guess I can just enter the numbers in the whatchamacallit. So, I don't know. I will go down there tomorrow and to the store and see about that. I mean, it's a Visa card. I just don't have a plastic physical one, but I do have, oh, I'm looking for my phone. My phone is in front of me. Maybe I can use my phone to show them the Visa card, or maybe they won't ask. I don't know. At any rate, just like last year, my Thanksgiving is going to be, last year it was, I think like 3 days later. It looks like it might be the same this year. So, that's all messed up. But, you know, like I had talked about in my last video, working with energy, and I guess that's what the lesson is now, this semester. Because that it just keeps coming up, and it's a matter of not just my energy, which is kind of out of control lately, but also that of around me, people I'm near and like have to interact with. There's always a situation of changing energy. And so when I find myself getting so upset and angry that I'm like almost out of control, it is a little scary. And here's something even a little scarier. Is right before I started doing this, I turned on a video, and it was about how being raised by a narcissist will make you act out of control and all of these symptoms in other ways. Like, I don't remember the exact title, but I did watch it, and I'm watching it and going, oh shit, I do that. Oh shit, I do that. And I was like, who is the narcissist in my family? And my mom raised me. I mean, I spent a lot of time at my aunt's house with her family, my uncle and her 3 kids, but I mean, my mom raised me. So who is the narcissist? Like, was it when I was a small child, when my grandparents had me and my mom was working and my dad was sitting on his ass in a bar, not working, to be clear? Or did I get it from my mom? Or did I get it from so much time at my aunt's house with my cousins who were, never mind what they were. But I was wondering, who's the narcissist? I don't know. You got to be careful just watching stuff with no training about that kind of thing, because I don't know. I mean, you could make a wrong decision, obviously, but you could make a wrong decision that could like mess up your mental health, I think. I don't know. I don't have dough for Shrink or Calm or, any of those therapy sites right now. I just have for the basics. So, gotta try and control my own energy as best I can. And the way I did that yesterday was go stick my face under the pillow and the blanket for like the whole day. And, I mean, what are you going to do on a holiday anyway? Everybody's off somewhere with their people. Stuff is closed pretty much. I could have gone to Safeway yesterday. I just was feeling so terrible. I was like, I ain't leaving the house. What if I have to talk to someone? Could go wrong. Could go wrong? Wrong. Could go wrong. Oh my gosh. Anyway, all that. So, I was in the mood yesterday. I feel better now that I talked to my person some, but I'm still kind of like feeling the residue of that a little bit. And I really don't want to. But, the other part is he drives me insane because he wants me to do a thing that I don't want to do. And it's not like abuse, or it's not meant to be abuse, but he has a children's charity and he would like me to help him operate it. And it is some of the most frustrating thing I've ever had to do. And it makes me like lose my temper faster than anything ever. And the sad thing is right before all of this, I was talking to my caregiver who has been with me for 5 years now. And I think I talked about this in my last video, where she had just told me, like, day before yesterday, last day she was here, was that she was not sure when she first met me if she was gonna like stay working for me, because the day that she came, I was going through one of my storms, and I had thrown my phone and broken a picture frame. And so she was like, what am I getting myself into? I don't know if I want to do this. But she stuck it out, and she said that she was glad she did. But the reason why I bring it up is because I didn't ask her unsolicited. She volunteered. Your temper has really improved since when I met you 5 years ago. And that's the frustrating thing, is my person just met me now. So he only gets to see that part of me with no context. And it's hard to separate. And I keep telling him, man, we can't mix it because it makes me so crazy, and it's that I'm angry at that, and I actually don't want to be doing it. I told him from the beginning I don't want to do it, but it's a sensitive position, I guess, and the way it's set up is whoever is clerking, which is what I call what he has me doing, has access to funds that are incoming, donations, right? And you're just supposed to process them and, send them on so they can be used by the children that they're meant for. So one person ripped them off that they had doing it, and they're still trying to track the person down with the law, I guess, still trying to track them down. And I don't know like what that's going to resolve, but I'm not an investigator. I'm not even going to worry about it. And so I said, well, sure, I'll help you out, and it's a good cause. I do want to help, but like I said, it's just not something that I'm any good at. I'm getting the hang of it now after a few months, but I still screw up. And then it's like all this pressure is like, he's on me, and then he's like, the foundation is like asking me questions, and the donee or the donor, and I'm like, I don't want this. I don't want all this pressure. I never wanted to do it in the first place. So that's kind of, it's not a point of contention for him. He's just like, I know you can do it. Just don't get mad. I'm like, just don't get mad. You're part of why I get mad, because while I'm stressing out trying to do it, I know he says he's trying to help, but he's like every 2 seconds sending me a message, and we're both on a mobile phone, so understand that when I get one of his incoming messages, it covers up where I'm about to click, because he does it so often. It's like there's no in between. There's like no time that I can't click when he's not also clicking, and his message will be in the way, and I'll click the wrong thing, or the whole screen will move and I'll click the wrong thing, and then I won't know it. And then I'll find out later when he finds out, and I'll get reamed. And it's like, why am I doing this idea? It's like it just goes in circles. And at first they just weren't looking. I kept saying, I don't want to do it. You got to get someone else. And he kept saying, okay, I will. And then he wouldn't go say anything. And so nothing was happening on the other end. And still nothing is happening. And it's like, I'm so busy. I need someone to help me. And he already has me hooked up to the thing so I can't get away from it. It's like a nightmare. Yeah. Should I talk about cards now? Talk about cards. Okay. So the Straddling Worlds card. Well, I mean, what does that sound like? It sounds like, well, to put it in context here, it sounds like you got 1 foot in 3D and 1 foot in 5D. Dogs being walked or something. And I saw this and I'm like, how does that apply to me? I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't really think of it in terms like straddling two worlds, but I mean, yeah, there's some truth to that, but I think we all are. It's a manifestation of the change that's happening right now. We are all stuck in part of what was, and maybe having to be sort of coaxed and maybe pushed a little into what is going to be. But it's a change that, like I said, some of us don't want to make, and that's an energy of reluctance which holds back everyone else. So more energy manipulation. Like, think of it as like you're willing to not only straddle both worlds, but move more toward the fifth dimension and out of the third. So there are some of us, like I said, that don't want to change. And but we all have to, like, no change is going to happen until we all come along. And so I feel like, the reluctant ones are creating a drag, the ones that don't want to change. And then at the opposite end of it, there's the squad immediately comes to mind, the Democratic Congress people that are collectively known as the squad. They're Democrats and they're far left, and the Democratic Party themselves talks about the progressives as if it calls them radicals. It actually talks about them like they're not even Democrats, which is insane. That's like the Democrats trying not to straddle two worlds, because the way we were doing things worked well for a while, but we have to make changes not because people are transgender, or not because the left is trying to do stuff to people's minds and all of that. It's because change just happens all the time. It's inexorable. We can't do a damn thing to stop it. And I think maybe we run into some problems when some of us are sticks in the mud, and also when others of us want to move forward, and those of us in the middle are like, no, we don't want to do that because we've done this the same way for however long, and we don't want to change. And I understand that, and I agree with it when it comes to abortion. Like, we had it for 50 years. That's a change that should not have happened. It's not going to stay changed, though, because, first of all, a bunch of men deciding that this is not something we should do is not a thing we should do. They should not even be deciding. They can have a input, but until you own a vagina, and I don't really want to hear it from you, man. And especially, the men that you don't even know, and obviously they don't know you either, trying to get inside your medical business and decide whether or not you should have an abortion or not. and supersede like the decision of the stranger who lives the life and knows like what the life can handle and what it can't as far as taking on expenses, and children are expensive. Or maybe you're like me and you know you just don't want children. And so, to my way of thinking, if I don't want children, I probably shouldn't have any, right? But there are people out there that think females are just breeding machines. Again, I'm going to bring up Dune. We are not axolotl tanks. Let me just spell that out for the non-Dune people. It's funny that it's like a total like Mexican word, but it's about aliens. It describes alien stuff in Dune. Axolotl. Okay, now my writing's all messed up. AXOLOTL. Axolotl. And what they are is there is a species called Ixians from the planet Ix in the book. I believe the Ixians are the ones with the axolotl tanks. And they are experts in like cloning and probably like limb replacement or something like that. But they're like, I wouldn't call them doctors, but they have like physician knowledge. And it's a male-dominated society. The women are basically like on stretchers or something and are used strictly for breeding. Like they don't talk, they don't really see. Like I think they just lay there on stretchers like breeding machines, except they're not machines, they're people. I think they're attached to machines though. But it's kind of sick that this guy or these I'm gonna call them religious zealots have this whole like plan in mind, and for other people that are not themselves. Like women have children so we can have workers and soldiers, and like, dude, go. Have you even been to a war? Like the person that I'm talking about is the speaker, temporary speaker of the House, Mike Jones, and that's what the guy like fully seriously says in public. Breed people so we can have workers. What? Soldier? The guy has not ever enlisted, I am pretty sure. Like, not a soldier. So, like, I can't get over the nerve of this guy, like, just sending people off to die like they're toy soldiers from a toy kid. These are people with feelings and intellect and emotion. And speaking as one of them, butt out. Oh my God, I can't believe people. What makes him think he has the right? His religion? There are so many ways Christianity is done. Why does he think his is the one, the penultimate one? Like, what about all of the other people that have their own, like, what? I don't even understand that. Like, how can you just think that you can just say and expect people to do what you're saying and not, like, take their own self into consideration? I just don't. It makes me, like, it's gonna break my brain. And that one is, that's one of those ones that don't want to change. You don't want to see it. Well, too bad, because change is. Now I will read from the guidebook. Straddling worlds, being comfortable in two states. I don't know about comfort. Wandering between realms, reinvention. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on where you are on my scale. Stick in the mud, pain in the butt, or progressive. Obviously, nothing can be one way, and I don't know why people think it should be or think it can be. That's never been the case here. What we should do is continue what we were doing and behaving as if there's more than one point of view, because that is the truth. There's a lot of funny thoughts in politicians' minds lately. Like Trump. He thinks he's gonna get elected going around saying the stuff he's saying. Like, oh, I'm gonna go after everybody that said something bad about me. Well, you're gonna have to kill like half the country then. Like, literally. And here's what really gets me. He said Joe Biden came after me and my family, so that means I get to come after them. No, Joe Biden didn't. Laws that you broke is what came after you and your family. Joe Biden happens to be the head of the government. You're as much responsible for that as you are responsible for what any other criminal did when you were president. How about some black people or some Latino people, those people that are brown that you don't care for? I'm sure they did stuff while you were president. That's on you. So don't... That is just stupid. And also, are you for? You did it to me, I'm going to do it to you. No. You did it to yourself and your family you did it to by making them do crime with you. Because that's your family's deal. And also blaming everything that happens to you on other people. Sick of hearing it. Sick of it. So, I mean, he's just escalating too. So people are so afraid that he's going to get reelected, and I'm like, I'm not. He's saying too much crazy. I mean, he was awful. Fake teeth. He was awful before. Now he's awful and... But getting reelected, I don't think so. How did I get off track of this? Reinvention is the third, I guess, subtitle that's on here. When the Straddling Worlds card shows up, it's an invitation to get used to living with one foot in your old world and one foot in the new. There's no going back to the way things once were. You hear that? Sticks in the mud. Also, there's no going to where things never were. Nobody's breeding for you to, like, go work them or war them, you crazy man. There is no going back to the way things once were, and what will be is not yet fully here. Yeah, that's how it goes. You must find the delicate balance that can bring your delight as you relish the past and all of your memories, along with awe as you glimpse the astonishing and exciting future. Oh, wow, wow. Fireworks. Sorry, fireworks! Oh, that was probably really loud. Again, I'm sorry. Well, not really, but a little bit. You must find a delicate balance that can bring you delight as you relish the past and all your memories, along with awe as you glimpse the astonishing and exciting future. Do not wait for applause. Move on quietly, humbly, invisible to others. This card brings an invitation to begin not only a new chapter, but a new book in your life. Do not break the news to anyone. Let people be as surprised as you are as you reinvent yourself. Make sure you are not just a slightly improved and more polished version of a dated and obsolete you. Birth yourself into someone original. Do not feel like you have to explain yourself or be understood by anyone. Become a mystery even to yourself. Gaze into the mirror one morning and be pleasantly surprised. I'm sorry, but that last whole paragraph, I just gotta say, I hate it. Birth yourself into someone original. What the hell does that even mean? How do you even know something like that? We turn into what we turn into. If it's original or not, how in the world are we supposed to gauge that against what? Billions of people? What are you even talking about? Sorry, I'm just like a pill today. And I keep saying sorry when I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I was explaining that I'm a pill. Straddling Worlds invites you to become a true wizard, not one who performs magic tricks, but one who's mastered the dance between the visible and the invisible worlds, between the realms of form and formlessness. You are the birther of new ideas, of original and sustainable ways of being in the world. Well, dang, I sound like a compostable cup. Which is not a bad thing. Well, I mean, I don't know. That particular guidebook thing irritates me. So I'm going to show you the card, and I mean, it's kind of a mess. What's happening here? There's a red bird person and a blue bird person. Funnily enough, that works for Democrats and Republicans. And they're kind of stuck together, but they also look like maybe they were purple and they kind of split. You look. Where's my thingy? Red bird, blue bird, purple area. And there does seem to be, like, to me, this just looks like a pulling apart. The wings are flapping all hard, like, oh, I gotta free myself. Get off me. And this guy down here is like, oh, I'm all tangled up. I'm just gonna plummet. Look at my wings are all curly. That's useless. That's not gonna save this guy. Although, if they get detached, which they will, because change eventually happens, I'm sure that this bird that looks like it's just going to plummet will right itself along the way. And I'm sure everything will be fine. Although, fine can be subjective, because change is. There's always going to be something that's going to come along and be sort of uproarious and possibly cause a problem in your life. You never know. And it really all depends on how you handle that energy as the transitions are happening, you know. I mean, if it's down to your own personal situation, or if it expands further beyond that and graduates out into work, and then I don't know what government, and then that is like exponentially will include more people to consider. But I think in this period of change, what we should do is consider people more. Consider more people more often. When I get really angry volunteering at this work with the charity, my anger is focused. It's not meant to go on anyone else. Although it happens a little bit because of the situation I mentioned before, where I kind of am being helped along like more than I would like, and it's kind of messing me up. So it's the weirdest thing. I'll say, please don't do this, and they'll go, okay, and I'm like, you just did the thing I asked you not to do. And then they'll answer me again, and it's like, trying to do this other thing, would you please stop making me have to pay attention to you? And I feel like that's a controlling the energy thing. And I don't necessarily mean controlling my temper, but I mean like, I'm trying to do this thing over here, then I have to divide my attention to like fend off all of this other extraneous stuff that's coming in that is kind of messing me up. And then on another whole other level, I have to like try and get this person to understand that, yes, I appreciate your help, but stop helping. You're not helping. And then I guess I can't handle too many more than 1, 2, 3, because I get them 4 and then hair's on fire. Luckily, this person of mine who is new, and I'm surprised they're still hanging around, because I've gotten so angry, and they have unfortunately gotten scorched a number of times. They're still there. Still like calling me out, like, okay. Okay. And it makes me of course, say I have to do better. And so, since this person is incredibly persistent and will not let me stop, or will not let me have peace if I stop, then I kind of have to do it, at least until, please God, let them find someone else to do this. But he also knows that when that's not happening, I'm a completely different person. So thankful for that, I guess, at least, as for being thankful for stuff. And especially, the wrong word, didn't want to use that word. But by the way, speaking of being thankful, for as upset as I was yesterday and all of the misunderstanding and all of the emotion that I was feeling, I mean, I might have been triggered by what happened between me and the person, but he didn't do anything really, you know? And my getting triggered, that's embedded in me. He has nothing to do with it. Like, if something happens that will trigger me, that's not his fault. He's just being a person, you know? And that's an element that I need to have better control over. And that's your vibe. That's your energy. Like, you're angry or not angry, or you're, you know, compassionate and loving, or just plain nice. You know, you don't have to go overboard and be, you know, whatever, Mother Teresa. I mean, you could just be regular old plain, like, I'm not going to offend you, you're not going to offend me, hey, how you doing, person passes by, it's over, like, you know, regular stuff. That doesn't have to turn into all of the things that interacting with our fellow humans has turned into, like all of these resentments and weird beliefs and judgments that it's hard for us to remember that every time we're, like, for instance, pointing out something that's wrong with someone. See, this is a bunch of fingers pointing right back at you. It's on the same hand that's pointing out something about somebody else that you seem to have a problem with. That hand is saying the same thing to you. And it just occurred to me to think of it that way, but, like, if you're ever wondering if you're going overboard judging people, and this comes out, there's your answer. So I pulled 2 cards from my person is sending me messages right now. I told him I was going to be busy for an hour, and then I would contact him. Do you think he listened? No, he's answering me. And there he goes again. That's the 4th one. Okay, so I pulled 2 cards from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. This time it is that one. And the first card I pulled was Raccoon. I also pulled the Deer card. So let's see what the Raccoon has to say first. If I can find that guy. Oh, other direction. Okay. So, well, this guy looks like he's just trying to hide. Look at those eyes. Looks kind of fearful. Raccoon. Talented, shadowy, in hiding. Raccoon energy is at play within all artists, to greater or lesser degrees. At best, it indicates talent, tenacity, and skillfulness with a particular musical instrument or creative tool. Its shadow side points to an unresolved issue around self-image and success. Sometimes using a stage name or wearing a mask works in an artist's favor. Other times it limits creativity. Am I who my audience thinks I am? What if I am? Or what if I am ready to grow into something more? Raccoon energy won't let us off the hook until this creative ego fear is resolved. I can't. I'm not done. When in balance, generous friend, exceptional artist. When out of balance, competitive, starving artist. To bring into balance, make new work. Yeah, I'm not like wearing masks. I'm not having stage names. In fact, you know, if I'm gonna say I'm anything, I'm a punk rocker. And my last name is Sample, and people just find it very hard to believe that that's a real last name, but it really is my last name. And you know what it is? You know how some last names like mean something? Like Hooper, I think, makes like barrels or something, and Carpenter's carpenter, doctor, farmer. Sample, the hell is sample? I'll tell you what the hell is sample. Sample is what the Scottish accent did to St. Paul. Because I looked it up, because I was like, well, what does sample do? Nothing. Just that dumbass joke I get all the time, and no, the answer is no. No, you may not. But no hiding or stage names. This is the real deal. And I'll tell you something about the real deal. I don't know if you've noticed, but famous people are kind of crazy and weird, right? Because a lot of them don't have people saying no to them. And so it just kind of makes it so easy for us to give into our most depraved impulses, or just any impulse. You know, it makes you kind of like out of control. Now, having said that, knowing that some people are just not born famous actor, musician, writer, whatever. They're just born people, and so they're already weird and crazy to begin with. And that's the thing. We ascribe like titles and certain hoodships to people, and really, we're all kind of crazy and nuts and screwball. It's not just famous people. We act like famous people are like different in that way. They're just regular people that became famous. They're just as weird and messed up as the rest of us, so get over that. And I have to say about my person, one of the things I've always liked best about them is the way they react with the public. Because the public, when you're famous, will just walk up to you and interrupt your dinner, blah, blah, blah. And I just totally got really mad because every time I'm about to start eating, well, not every time, he's not in here every time, but my cat has this amazing habit of walking up and deciding he needs something when I'm like this with my first bite of food. He'll be all meow, and then he'll sit there and stare at me or put his foot on my leg or something, so that I have to interrupt myself. You see, I'm getting all uptight about it because it pisses me off. It's like, he was here, he just did it earlier. We've been here for hours. I was sitting here. I wasn't doing this. I wasn't doing anything. I was just watching videos. Do you think he could ask for the food then? No, he had to wait till I'm eating. Because like, oh, it's food time. Well, I want food too. Yeah, but that means I got to stop to feed you. I get irritated. Sorry, my personality, deal with it. So, the other card I pulled from the from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck was Deer. It's just a deer portrait. There's not really anything to say about it except it's a fine likeness of a deer. It doesn't look scared or anything. It just looks like a deer between blinks. Even the background is just kind of like a sky kind of corn dove. What? Kind of sky. And really, I'm not getting a dang thing off of this, so I'm gonna read the book. Loving, intuitive, graceful, the mother. The deer represents the feminine aspects of earth energy. The energy is available to all creatures, regardless of gender, but is especially potent in new parents. During the first few days, they are fully present, nurturing and calm. Their inner beauty radiates, and a sense of grace calms the room. A deer personality affects others in this way, drawing them toward a quiet tenderness. The deer card may appear when a birth or celebration of new life draws near, or when the situation calls for absolute gentleness and compassion. Well, I'd say that portrait of a deer pretty much embodies those qualities of gentleness and compassion. And you may wonder, like, what the hell does compassion in a deer look like? I will tell you, because I have a couple of does that I really love up the street where I go on one of my routes when I take my exercise ride. But there's two does that are always together, and the first time I saw them, I thought there were 4 fawns. I could be wrong, but after that, I only saw 3. But something could have happened to the 4th as well, because it might not have made it across the street in time somewhere. Or I saw wrong, although, I don't know, I feel like I saw 4. Anyway, when I see them, they're usually... Sometimes I'll see just a single doe, and I'm going to think it's the same one because it's always I see it in the same spot. On a warm, sunny day, on my route where they are, there's a business behind a chain link fence, and between the fence and like the door of the business, there's a lawn and some trees in front of it. And a doe I have often seen just kicking it there, like just curled up on the grass, no fawns anywhere, just lone doe hanging out. And other times they're together, and there'll be one doe in the front and one doe at the rear with the fawns in the middle, and it's just like such, you can see it's obvious, like a protection stance around the babies. And they're so, like, I don't know, lovingly family oriented came to mind. I don't know how the heck I would know something like that. Except, you know, animal shows. The deer are not going out to clubs or like hanging out with the sister-in-law, having a girls' night with a wine box or whatever. No, the whole family is just together all the time because they're not humans, they're deer. They don't have our concerns and considerations, nor should they. They're just not built for it. It's not their life. But these two, it's interesting because, like, this is only me sometimes, but this is definitely my person because they do wear a mask. They have their same name, but the person they are on screen is not the person they are at home, which is not to say that what they do on their show is fake. All I can say is the type of show that it is, it's a reality type situation, and some situations can't be forced. So it's a television show too, so it's going to do what it's going to do to fill space and to like fill up the time slot. And when you're in those reality situations, you can't just always make stuff happen to order. So if there's any faking involved, it would be because of that, and it would not be because they wanted to do it, my person or his colleagues, but because the network is like, you got to make this exciting, you got to make this interesting. And if you think I'm joking, go back and look at any Hollywood anything and learn about how the studios are. Look at how they were in like the 40s, where if they didn't like your look, they make you change your hair color, change your eyebrow. Like it's like a whole like identity machine, you know, a reassignment of identity machine. And what you should expect from Hollywood, because Hollywood is the dream factory. And not the dreams you dream when you're asleep, the ones that people awake dream up and make fantastical. So, there is a theatrical side to our politics right now. Like I talked about it in my last video, where the politician in the video that I linked in the information box, that was a clip from The Daily Show, there's a politician on there who straight up says what everybody has thought for a long time, is that they're just putting on a show. And if you're wondering for who, it ain't us. It's whoever is their bread and butter. And if you got some of Trump's butter, you're going to be in trouble, because that butter is tainted. And then, I mean, I guess this is like not political society. Although, wow, where is this group of people? They're actually everywhere. And I'll tell you how I know. There's like I said, there's lots of bad things to come up with to tell people. It's a little bit more difficult to bring out like positive news, but like one of the things that sustains me on a daily basis, even if it makes me totally cry, is to watch the people out there helping people, either helping homeless people or just random people, just walking up and talking to them and determining, like, do you need something or what's your situation? But always a conversation is begun, and at some point, money changes hands, and either the person that's being offered to takes it and keeps it, or that person says, hey, I'm good, I have what I need, I'm going to pass it on to someone else, or gives it back and says, hey, give it to someone in more need. That makes me feel great every day. Animal rescues, there's a ton of them on YouTube, and man, I've been super emotional the past couple of days, and there's like, the full moon is coming, and I always start feeling stuff a couple of days beforehand, at least. So, I assume that's why I'm emotional. It's got to be affecting other people too. But change is making people feel disoriented and scared and like they're going to lose something. But it's like, what I see that is an interesting manifestation of the change freak out is there is a whole bunch of people that are just trying to come out with all this weird, like, we're going to blame you for all kinds of perversions and ugliness. And even though, like, one side ain't saying nothing like that all over in public in front of microphones and children and just the world and being gross and weird, but trying to say that everybody else is wrong because that's what they're doing. It's like, you're the only one out there screaming and yelling about it, though. So it looks like it's you, even though you're saying it's not. It looks like it's you. You understand what I mean? It's like projection. People like to talk about projection a lot. I don't have a degree in anything, so I hesitate to just be throwing that word around. But I do know what it means. Well, by definition. But a lot of people will throw it around and say, "Oh, they're just saying that," and because they're projecting. Well, don't be so quick to be talking about what other people are projecting, because you are likely doing it as well, which is why I kind of try to stay away from that word. I can dredge up my own crap and display it for you just fine. I don't need to have projection. I'm sure I get projected at. It's, we're human. We're not all like in like complete control of our emotions or our impulses. I mean, all you got to do is look at the news one day, or even just walk outside and go to a store maybe where there's a bunch of other people and you can observe them and not really be like all weird about it or make people uncomfortable, because there's just everybody, no one's looking at you. Okay, like you can look at people in a place like that and you can see. So I have lost track now of what you were supposed to see in the store. Something to do with projection and acting out and the way that we behave with one another. But to use an example, because they're a public figure and supposedly a role model, take Lauren Boebert, the Republican representative from Colorado. Well, she'll be out there making big speeches about Jesus and stuff, but then she'll go out and act like not Jesus-like. And so it's like, I mean, I don't know what she means or doesn't mean. I don't know what her sincerity level is, but I don't know. I mean, I try not to like get myself into problems talking big talk that I can't back up. And you know, I'm not saying that she can't back it up because of the whole Beetlejuice incident. Also human and pretty friggin' normal if, you know, bad timing or bad judgment of when to do that type of thing. She's not unusual in that way. But she's constantly preaching at people, like religious-wise, and if you don't live up to it, you shouldn't do it, you know, or actually you just shouldn't do it. Like, let people live their lives how they live them, and then what happens, happens, because that's what's supposed to happen. Nobody's supposed to come along and intervene, especially if it's not your child or your drunk husband or your sick wife. It's not your job. Like, let them deal with their own stuff. Let life happen to them the way it's going to happen. It's not your right to dive in and insert yourself in people's business. It's barely your right to do it with your own children. And I wish people could keep that in mind, because the people out there that are so loud and in front of a bunch of cameras, and politicians that are out there telling people, other people, not themselves, how to live their lives, or what's wrong with this person and what's wrong with that person. Let them be wrong. It's not you, is it? It's really not affecting your life, except for you're inserting yourself into theirs. I don't know why people don't get that. I don't know why people don't know that they're doing it. I don't know why that they don't know when they're doing it that it's wrong to do it. I don't understand that. Like, never was I taught anywhere ever that it was okay to go telling other people how to live. Just like, period. And if they were transgender or gay or had a horn growing out of their forehead, what do I care? I have no control over that. I don't have to live that life. I don't have to be scrutinized. And you know what? Neither do they if people just mind their own damn business. Oh my God, it creates so much more problems than we need to have. And, like, can we be proportional? Please, can we be proportional? Why do you get so in an uproar about something that ultimately does not ever affect you, except your sensibilities are offended? Control that energy, tuck that in, deal with it. Like, you don't have to get upset by it. You don't have to be interested in it. You don't have to pay attention to it. Why are you doing something that obviously upsets you? Why don't you stop? That would be a smart thing to do. I don't understand people's logic. So while I'm like kind of still a little bit out of control myself, that's the reading you got. Thank you and good night.